Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV could be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, our staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at NACTV at wcgwave.ca. All right, this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, June 28th, 2024, the end of June already. On the front page, we have a great picture of some graduating students of the class of 2024. They're Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute students. They were in a very celebratory mood on Tuesday, June 25th, just before the start of their graduation ceremony. There's some extra pictures on page 9, so I'll just go there too. Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute's graduation ceremony for the class of 2024 was held on Tuesday, June 25th at the Yellowhead Centre. The arena portion of the facility was filled to near capacity with students, teachers, friends, and family, all there to help celebrate the students' special day. The valedictorian address was given by Jillian Parrott, pictured here. She discussed all the challenges this year's class has faced through the years, but how they were able to overcome these obstacles. Congratulations to the class of 24, and best wishes and success to you all in the future. Here, 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 and here. Now, another article on the front page, Neepawa RCMP investigate fatal collision near Gladstone. On Sunday, June 23rd, 2024, at approximately 12:20 p.m., Neepawa RCMP responded to a two-vehicle collision on Highway 34 just south of Highway 16 near Gladstone. The southbound minivan was making a U-turn on Highway 34 when a motorcycle traveling south collided with the van. The driver of the motorcycle, a 21-year-old male from Austin, died at the scene. The driver of the minivan, a 78-year-old male, and the passenger, a 73-year-old female, were not physically injured. Neepawa RCMP, along with a forensic collision reconstructionist, continue to investigate. Oh, that's sad. Okay, an opportunity to give back. Neepawa Dairy Queen raises over $2,000 for Minnedosa Youth Drop-in Centre by Casper Werhan. It isn't out of the ordinary to see Neepawa's Dairy Queen bustling with activity. On the evening of June 20th, however, there was a special initiative taking place. That day, from 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., the local restaurant branch was partnered with Minnedosa's Valley Life Family Worship Center, or VLFWC, to aid in fundraising funds for the group's new youth drop-in center. During the specified time period, a portion of the sales from all food items would be donated towards the youth-focused initiative. As part of this collaboration, volunteers associated with the VLFWC were also on the scene to assist with serving food, including some enthusiastic youth. It was a very good evening. The weather cooperated and the volunteers were great, said Neepawa Dairy Queen owner and manager Pam Brown. It was a wonderful time, and I really appreciated being a part of it. I always appreciate when we have the opportunity to give back to the community. The official results were tabulated and ready as of the morning of June 21st, showing that a grand total of $2,065.33 will be donated to the VLFWC. It was an excellent day at Dairy Queen, said Reverend Don Dragon of VLFWC. We also had a couple $100 come in donations, and our 50/50 tickets sold very well. We got $240 in tickets. Combined together, these funds bring the VLFWC another step closer towards the construction of their new building and drop-in center, which is estimated at a total cost when furnished of $3.4 million. Further information on the Youth Drop-in Centre can be found in the August 11th, 2023 or June 7th, 2024 edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press, or on VLFWC's website. Additionally, as the VLFWC's 50/50 draw will take place on August 18th, information on that initiative can still be found on their website as well, or by reaching out to Reverend Dragon at dragan@icloud.com. So they have a few more pictures here. These two youngsters who were volunteers for the day await an order that they would bring out to the table. And here we have Carolyn and Wayne Stenson. They were ready with information and 50/50 tickets in support of the VLFWC's Youth Drop-in Centre. And here one of the adult volunteers brings an order to one of the tables. Keep your eye on the ball. Okay. Neepawa was host to the Midwest Regional Baseball Championship over the weekend. Teams from the under 11 and under 13 categories, including 4 clubs from Neepawa, participated in the 3-day tournament. And more details are on page 13. Okay, we'll go there. Oh, yes. Neepawa under 13 Funk team win Midwest Baseball Regionals by Owen Devereaux. Despite both Neepawa under 13 baseball teams playing some truly exceptional ball this past weekend at the Midwest Regionals, only one was going to be able to claim the championship banner. That prize would ultimately go to Neepawa under 13 Funk, who were able to hold on and pick up a 12-9 win over Neepawa under 13 Chudley on Sunday, June 23rd. Under 13 Funk jumped out to an early lead and were up 12-5 going into the bottom of the 5th. Under 13 Chudley did make things interesting, however, scoring 4 times in the final 3 innings, while also shutting down Funk's offensive efforts. It wouldn't be enough, though, as under 13 Funk held on for the win and the regional title. Good news for both squads, however, as their successes over the course of the season has earned them each a spot in the upcoming provincial baseball championships in July. So best of luck to both of those teams. So pictured here at the top is the Neepawa under 13 Funk Baseball Club. They went a perfect 3-0 over the weekend, including a 12-9 win over the Chudley team in the final to claim the Midwest Regional banner. Under 13 Chudley had a solid weekend as well, going 2-1, and along with Funk, pictured in bottom row, have earned a position in the provincial baseball championships set for July. So I might as well continue reading about baseball. Rivers defeat Hamiota at under 11 regionals in Neepawa. The River Comets are the 2024 under 11 and under Midwest Regional champions, having collected a thrilling 4-3 win over Hamiota on Sunday, June 23rd in Neepawa. The team went 15-0 during the season combined between the regular season and regionals. They will advance to the Tier 2 provincials in Reston, July 5th to 7th. And around the Santa Clara Baseball League, the Portage Padres just keep on rolling with an 11-4 win over the Neepawa Cubs on Monday, June 24th. The Padres now sit at 8-1-1 with 5 games to go. Neepawa drops to 5-3-1 and slide into third place after Plumas picked up a 5-1 win over Austin. Plumas moves up to 7-3. Meanwhile, Austin drops to 4-7. Minnedosa outslugged Carberry 25-11 as the Mavericks move out of the basement into 5th place at 3-8. Carberry drops to 3-8 as well, but lost the season series to the Mavericks. In Minnedosa, Andrew Richards went 4-4 with 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 4 runs, and 7 RBIs to pace the Mavericks to their second straight victory. Liam Bokowicz had a night going 4-5 with 3 RBIs and 6 runs scored. Devin Ford also went 4-5 with 4 runs scored. Austin Taylor threw a complete game victory for the Mavericks, striking out 7 and only walking 1. Taylor also scored 4 runs to help his cause. Carberry had the hungry 9 and managed to blast 3 home runs, including Corey Ballard, Colby Weeb, and Trey Dixon. Dixon went 4-5 with 2 runs scored for Carberry. Billard took the loss, throwing 4 innings. He was 2-4 with a walk on the plate. In Austin, Riley McBride was a star defensively and offensively for Plumas. He threw a complete game 5-hitter while striking out 9. Offensively, McBride helped himself, going 2-4 with a single and double and 2 runs scored. Zach Yando was good, going 3-4 with a single, double, 2 RBIs, and 1 run scored. Very good. All right, I will go back to, let's see. I'll go back to page 6. Helen Drysdale. This week, out of Helen's Kitchen, Helen is talking about the summer kitchen. At one time, when there was no electricity for fans or air conditioning, and cooking was done on a wood-burning stove which radiated intense heat, many homes had summer kitchens. Keeping the heat and the risk of fire out of the main house made good sense and made sleeping a lot more comfortable. A summer kitchen was a small outdoor building located next to the back of a house, built to prepare, cook, bake, preserve, and pickle in the hot summer months. Summer kitchens usually had large screen windows on both sides to allow any breezes to come through them. They were common on the prairie farms where the housewife would spend weeks putting up the harvest for the huge gardens they grew to feed their families during the winter. If they did not have an extra stove for the summer house, people would disassemble their wood cook stove and move it into the summer kitchen when the weather got hot. A large barrel of water was hauled for washing vegetables and dishes. It was an important part of the living space for many homes and a center of activity. Often the cream separator was moved to the summer house as well as the butter churn. The summer kitchen helped keep the food smells out of the main house, thus helped keep the flies out as well. This recipe is a great way to use up those extra tomatoes from the garden. You can heat, process, or can this recipe, or just freeze in freezer-safe containers. If freezing, thaw before using and prepare the same way you would if it were canned. Do not skip the lemon juice citric acid when canning the jars. This is there for your safety. So she has a homemade tomato soup recipe. Gladstone Market Report by Tyler Slawinski of the Gladstone Auction. Howdy, cattle producers. This is Tyler Slawinski in reporting from the Gladstone Auction Mart for Tuesday, June 25th. Cool and damp seems to be the trend with the weather pattern lately. It is surprising how the same province can be so different in certain areas. While hay is being made in one area, seeding and spraying is still going on in others, if it isn't too wet. One thing about having a year with excess moisture, there is a good chance there is grass, and if the crop won't combine, it'll surely make feed. The market this week was fairly active. I'm sure we break records every time we have a sale. I have never seen this many slaughter cows and bulls trail to town at this time of year. Cattle fit to breed or graze are bringing prices that we have never seen, and cows and bulls seem to be bringing prices from another world. Supply and demand is definitely supporting the cattle market. We sold 559 cattle through the ring in Gladstone on Tuesday. The market saw a variety of cattle. The market seemed stronger in most spots, and if you compare that with the quantity and quality we are seeing this time of year, the market is very strong. The first cut cattle are becoming few and far between and are still in high demand. Second and third cut cattle are now selling for all-time highs. Cows and bulls traded with plenty of strength from 178 to 192, with sales to 195 with consistent averages. Bulls traded with brute force ranging between 220 and 235 with sales to 245. All classes of cattle sold well. Plainer type cattle are still being discounted. Here is a look at the feeder market. Be sure to check out the updated schedule as cattle numbers start to soften. We have decided to skip every other week. This allows for more cattle sale day and to accommodate our cattle buyer who need volume to create loads and fill orders. We will still be having one more sale on July the 9th before the summer break to clean up any cattle that are fit to market. So this has been Tyler Slawinski reporting for the Gladstone Auction Mart, and thank you for being a part of our industry. Now we have an update from our town council by Owen Devereaux. Some of the notable discussions and updates from the most recent town council meeting held on Tuesday, June 18th include the following. Yvonne Sisley notified fellow council members of a Neepawa Habitat for Humanity meeting on Monday, June 17th. The gathering was attended by a dozen people and outlined the family selection process for the project. Families who are unable to attend but are still interested in learning more can do so by contacting Amanda Nottingale at the Salvation Army or Marilyn Crew at the town office. As well, the application period for the second annual Children's Business Fair has opened. The concept behind the fair sees local youth create a product or service, building marketing strategy around the idea, and then open to customers at a one-day marketplace. The ideas and sales were then judged by a group of local community and business leaders. The Children's Business Fair will be held on August 15th at the Yellowhead Centre. Additional information has been shared on the town's social media. Jason Nadeau reported that the most recent meeting of the Rossburn Trail Association took place on June 6th. The trail group recently took over the mowing of the trail to ensure consistency and to assist the municipalities with the cost saving. A mower has been purchased along with the rental of a tractor from a Neepawa-based implement dealer for a 2-month period. Marika Kostenchuk attended the Home Assistance Neepawa and District, or called HAND, annual general meeting on June 7th. One item noted was a change in equipment back in May due to upgrades. In relation to the Income Tax Assistance Program announced earlier this year, there were 71 returns completed by the volunteers with Prairie Mountain Health and 25 with Gary Black. A spring tea was held and was able to bring in a profit of $498. Takeouts for the hand meal program for May were 319, with 132 meals delivered and on-site meals registered at 451. Oh, geez. On June 12th, Councillor Daryl Gerard attended a beautiful Plain County Courthouse meeting. He reports that there will be some cedar trees removed from the front of the courthouse because they are causing some damage. That decision has been made by the County Courthouse Board, who has jurisdiction of those types of decisions. It is not a decision that can be made by the town. The cost of the tree removal will be $2,700 and is the responsibility of the Courthouse Board. Lisa Pottinger commended the staff for the town of Neepawa for prompt action on the removal of downed tree branches and in some cases entire trees due to the massive thunderstorm that recently passed through the region. Deputy Mayor Murray Parrott mentioned that himself and other representatives of the town attended the June district meeting held in Minnedosa on June 5th. There was a meeting with the Manitoba Minister of Finance, Adrian Sella. The needs of Neepawa were discussed. Parrott closed out his comments by confirming that Dr. Gabby Oliveira and Dr. Emma Ball will be starting their residencies program on July the 1st. Now, a message from the Beautiful Plains School Division. As the Board of Trustees, we reflect on the many accomplishments of the 2023-24 school year to highlight the thriving communities our staff and students created in our schools. Our schools are rooted in the core values of respect, empathy, and honesty that help guide us in creating a nurturing environment where students are encouraged to grow academically, socially, and emotionally. We would like to take this opportunity to celebrate the outstanding efforts and achievements across all our schools and to express our heartfelt appreciation for the dedication and hard work of our staff who continue to be committed to our students. First, in the academics, our students excelled in various areas from consistent improvements in reading, writing, and numeracy to innovative learning opportunities such as the computer-aided design classes and the SEER project in our high schools. The SEER project integrates crop inspection through drone technology. These initiatives demonstrate our commitment to providing diverse and enriching educational experiences that are ever evolving with the world around us. An additional milestone is the 100% graduation rate of our students this past June. We recognize this comes with years of parents, staff, and students' hard work and support from across our system, kindergarten to grade 12, with every employee group creating a system of success that remains focused on our students. Secondly, community engagement and social responsibility. This contributes to positive culture across our schools and communities. Volunteer activities such as supporting the Helping Hands Soup Kitchen in Brandon, partnering with senior homes, We Scare Hunger, and Christmas cheer drives highlight a few examples of the spirit of giving and empathy across the schools. These initiatives teach our students the importance of contributing positively to their communities. Thirdly, sports and athletics continue to be a cornerstone of student life within the division. Our schools offer a wide range of sports, including intramurals, track and field days, traveling sports teams, house leagues, and many other physical activities that take place each day. Our students also showcase their athletic abilities at provincial levels, with Beautiful Plains School Division athletes accomplishing significant accomplishments across multiple sports. These activities not only promote physical health, but also foster teamwork and school spirit. Fourth, arts and cultural events. These provide ongoing highlights for all students and staff, with schools hosting numerous performances and creative endeavors, whether it's a spring musical, band concerts, choir performances, along with the various musical performances. The artistic talents of our students are tremendous. Activities like the special cultural days, music festivals, and Festival de Voyageurs also enrich our students' cultural understanding and appreciation of the diversity around us. And fifthly, extracurricular activities. These play a vital role in creating memorable school experiences. From the camp trips to field trips, these experiences foster a sense of adventure and camaraderie. Clubs and groups such as the peer mentors and tutors, student philanthropy, social justice, student council, and the Beautiful Plains School Division Student Perspective Panel provide platforms for students to develop leadership skills and pursue their passions. As we celebrate these accomplishments, we must acknowledge the many different staff groups whose dedication, flexibility, and ongoing work makes all these successes possible. The commitment to fostering a supportive and inclusive environment ensures that every student can thrive. We extend our deepest gratitude to our teachers, administrators, and all of the support staff across the division for the tireless efforts and the positive impact the hard work has on our students' lives. The 2023-24 school year in the Beautiful Plains School Division has been marked by remarkable achievements, vibrant community engagement, and a steadfast commitment to our core values of respect, empathy, and honesty. Together, we continue to build a bright future for our students, empowering them to succeed and make meaningful contributions to society. We look forward to another year of growth, learning, and celebration. Thank you on behalf of the Board of Trustees and Senior Administration team. Here we have a great big picture of a person, Shara Hannah, named Big Grass Marsh Citizen of the Year. Hats off to Sherry Hannah of Gladstone, who won the 2024 Big Grass Marsh Citizen of the Year Award. The Citizen of the Year Award is presented annually by the Big Grass Community Foundation. It's given to an individual, organization, or a business within the municipality of Westlake, Gladstone, that has made a significant contribution and whose volunteer efforts, achievements, or contributions have made a positive impact on our community. Wow. Playground being installed at Touchwood Park. Here we have 3 pictures. Not sure if you can see them very well. Some significant progress this week for the Touchwood Park Accessible Playground Project. On Wednesday, June 26, several pieces of equipment were being installed along with the pouring of the concrete to support the pieces. Additional details on the finalization of this finalization of this project will appear in an upcoming edition of the Veteran Press. Now, there's a Farmers Festival being held July 13th, 2024, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Minnedosa Museum and Heritage Village grounds. Concessions open 12 p.m. to 3:45, serving Cornish pasties, sausage roll, pork pie, and hot dogs, chips, pop, and water, and butter tarts. Kids pack is $5 for the drink, hot dog, and chips. And there will be different things happening throughout that afternoon. For more information, contact crewdog51@icloud.com. Access to the grounds by donation of cash only. Oh yeah, so in the town council information, they talked about a children's business fair, but this talks about it a little bit more. Neepawa to host second annual children's business fair by Casper Werhon. A youth event that surpassed expectations last year is returning to Neepawa in 2024. Neepawa Economic Development will be hosting the second annual Children's Business Fair on Thursday, August 10th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Yellowhead Hall. This event is put on with support from the Acton Academy and the Acton Next Great Adventure, inviting youth to showcase their very own business idea to the public. Last year's inaugural Children's Business Fair featured 20 different youth startup businesses and was attended by hundreds of members of the general public who showed support, as well as made purchases from the booth. A combined total of $3,727.25 had been made from the sales that year. The response last year was much better than I expected, said Marilyn Crew, Neepawa's Economic Development Officer. This year I am planning for 25 booths. In preparation of opening their business for the one-day marketplace, youth who participate will develop a brand, create a product or service, and build a marketing strategy, then ultimately sell their product or service at the market. A few of the businesses that were found at last year's fair are Pugs Parfait, Sugar Cloud, and Bracelet Besties. This is a great opportunity for kids to try their hand at running their own business, Crew enthused. Those who wish to apply to participate in the 2024 Children's Business Fair or learn more may do so at www.childrensbusinessfair.org/Neepawa. I'm going to come back to that. So page 13, Canadian Dental Care Plan Misconceptions. The Government of Canada started implementing a $13 billion Canadian Dental Care Plan, or CDCP, last month. This plan represents a significant opportunity to improve oral health care access for Canadians without dental access to dental benefits. Today, over 2 million Canadian seniors have been approved to receive dental care coverage. By next year, an estimated 9 million uninsured Canadians will be eligible for the plan. This is excellent news, yet only a small percentage of Canada's 25,000 dentists have registered to participate in the program so far. Despite our continued advocacy for changes to reduce program complexity, protecting patient privacy, and securing clarity on terms and conditions, the program remains flawed. Further, issues and misconceptions about the program by the public persist. In fact, in a survey conducted this month by the Canadian Dental Association, or the NACTV and the Provincial and Territorial Dental Associations, PTDAs, we learned that while many seniors require extensive dental work, 40% seniors would struggle to afford $100 copay, and 60% are not aware they will face additional costs under the CDCP. This is a problem. Our primary concern with these troubling findings is that patients will not receive the care they need under this program. Additionally, this misunderstanding about the program is likely to add extra pressure on dentist visits. Unless things change and the government makes a concerted effort to clearly communicate the parameters and limitations of their plan, many people in Canada will experience difficulty in accessing a dentist. Dentists are deciding how and when they may participate. They care about their patients and their oral health and are looking for a program that can integrate efficiently with their staff and practices. Although we acknowledge Health Minister Mark Holland's responsiveness and the progress that has been made to date to address dentists' concerns with the program, there are still some fundamental issues that directly impact patients that have been left unresolved. Dental offices across Manitoba and Canada are faced with having difficult conversations with patients about CDCP misconceptions. In fact, recent surveys with dentists show that dental office staff spend on average 50 minutes per day explaining the federal program to other patients. This creates a huge administrative burden to dental offices. Canada has a severe shortage of skilled dental office staff, particularly dental hygienists and dental assistants. There is concern these shortages may affect dental offices' ability to participate with the CDCP. The Manitoba Dental Association, the PTDAs, and the CDA are undertaking an education initiative encouraging people who are eligible for the CDCP to know before you go. Based on what we're hearing from our patients and know about our profession and practice, this is what Manitobans and Canadians need to know before they go to their dentist and seek treatment under the CDCP. For example, for many patients, treatments under the CDCP will not be free. Many people are under the impression the CDCP will cover all the costs for their care. This is not the case. Patients with an adjusted net family income between $70,000 and $90,000 are responsible for a federal government required co-payment of between 40% and 60% of fees set out by the government. In addition, the coverage provided by the federal government for all eligible CDCP patients, regardless of family net income, is less than full cost of the dental service. The difference will be on you. Another misconception: patients can receive CDCP covered treatments from any dentist. Until July, patients can only see a dentist registered to participate in the program. After July, patients can also see a dentist that will participate through the government claim-by-claim pathway. However, this non-registration pathway still requires dentists to accept the same unclear terms and conditions with patient privacy concerns, and not all dentists are willing to do so. This lack of clarity will leave patients confused, and in some cases, they may be unable to find a dentist to treat them under the CDCP. And lastly, the CDCP will cover all oral treatments today. Well, currently, the CDCP offers limited coverage and treatment options. Care options like sedation, crowns, partial dentures, and additional units of scaling as needed by youth, seniors, and persons with disabilities will need government pre-approval which does not start until November of 2024. We still do not know how long you, our patients, will need to wait for the government to approve the treatment we know you may need. Canada's new National Dental Plan still has the promise of being a true game changer for oral health, enabling expanded access to care for many Canadians, but only if done correctly. Troublesome aspects that are holding dentists back from participating have not been fully addressed. While there's still time to fix what's wrong with CDCP, the clock is ticking. Okay, so we read that. Oh, there was still another page of sports. What a weekend for Neepawa baseball, softball. It was a hectic weekend for Neepawa baseball and softball teams, not just here at home, but around the province. First, the under 11 girls, photo on this side, on the left, played in the softball Manitoba Provincial under 11 Championship Tournament at Buhler Recreation Park in Winnipeg. They had an intense tiebreaker game for game one, but came up short. They lost their second game, but won their 2 games to end their participation with a 2-2 record. So great weekend, girls. Meanwhile, the under 15 Neepawa boys, pictured here on the right, were in Hamiota for the Midwest Regionals. The championship banner was awarded to Neepawa after their 11-3 victory over Minnedosa in the finals. Neepawa will be the Midwest representative at Tier 2 provincials this fall. So congratulations to both of those teams on their successes. And still with sports, this one is about hockey. MJHL eliminating player draft in 2025. The Manitoba Junior Hockey League, the MJHL, their Board of Governors have voted to move away from the MJHL draft moving forward. This decision will allow Manitoba prospects, beginning with the 2009 age group. This will allow those projects entering the MJHL for the first time to have control over which member team they would like to play for. As every situation is different across the MJHL, Manitoba-born prospects will have 13 options to consider in deciding which member MJHL organization best suits their individual needs. The removal of the MJHL draft will help put a stronger emphasis on all member organizations to run a program of choice for players, and will give every Manitoba prospect greater choice on what MJHL program they feel would be the best fit for their individual development path. Going forward, beginning with 2009 born Manitoba prospects eligible to sign with any member MJHL team beginning for the 2025-26 season. The 2023 MJHL draft, that was the 2007 born prospects. Any auto protect / draft pick who remains unsigned by the team they were drafted by will either be eligible to sign with any other MJHL team as of August 1st, 2024. So the 2024 MJHL draft, the 2008s, any auto protect / draft pick who remains unsigned by the team they were drafted by will be eligible to sign with any other MJHL team as of August 1st, 2025. The Manitoba Junior Hockey League is one of 9 Junior A hockey leagues in Canada. It is a proud member of the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Currently, there are 13 member franchises in the MJHL. Okay, we read that. Oh no, this is in Gladstone, William Martin Collegiate. Congratulations to the class of 2024. A ceremony in their honor was held on Friday, June 21st. Along with the official ceremony, a parade was held for the grads as well. Lacey Boydens, pictured here, gave the valedictory address. Here you can see them walking along in a line with their grad caps on. Virden Empire-Advance under new ownership by Jessica Coulter. Ken and Christine, who her maiden name was Lobel of Virden. Ken and Christine Waddell are pleased to announce that they have acquired the Virden Empire-Advance newspaper from Glacier Media of Vancouver. The Waddells started the Neepawa Banner newspaper in 1989 and added the Neepawa Press in 2015. They owned the Rivers Banner for over 20 years and sold it a few years ago to their grandson Micah, but have a management agreement to help operate the Rivers-based paper. The Virden paper will be staffed by Ann Davison and Jessica Coulter. Other staff may be added as the company's growth allows. Ken Waddell said, "We will be making a number of changes in the operation of the Empire-Advance. The biggest change is that, similar to our papers at Rivers and Neepawa, the Virden paper will be free distribution. Virden Empire-Advance readers will get their paper free through various convenient locations in Virden, Oak Lake, Elkhorn, Lenore, Kenton, Cromer, Reston, and Minnedosa. The planned circulation is expected to expand substantially in the towns above. Outside the above listed designated areas, subscriptions will be available." Christine Waddell said, "I am so pleased that having grown up at Scarth and in the Virden area and having graduated from Virden High School in 1967, that we can come to Virden and invest in my hometown. We are both very pumped to be able to serve the Virden area. The Virden Empire-Advance will be 140 years old in 2025, having been established in 1885. It is one of the oldest community newspapers in Western Canada." Now, this is in Minnedosa. There's a new addition to the shores of Lake Minnedosa as a new kayak launch has been installed. Erlis Stobie and Mike Kreller began the project after they noticed an upswing in kayak use with the lake. They found a company in Manitoba who retails them. From there, the organization Friends of Lake Manitoba moved forward and purchased and installed one beside the main boat launch. It's on the east/public side of the lake. The local kayak club is thrilled with this new local feature. Looks very interesting. Huh. All right, I'll go back now to page 4. All right, 35 Years in the Making by Ken Waddell, right in the center. Disclaimer, the views expressed in this column are the writer's personal views and are not to be taken as part of the view of the Banner and Press staff. So this is a little bit more about their purchase of the newspaper in Virden. Last week, I wrote about the way we have developed our newspaper business model and how the Waddell family now has 3 papers. the Neepawa Banner and Press, and now the Virden Empire-Advance, are owned by my wife Christine and myself, with some input from our two sons, Mike and Rob. The Rivers Banner is owned by grandson Micah Waddell, and as noted last week, we manage it for him. I forgot to say last week that son Mike and his wife Naomi published Brandon's news in a minute. For centuries now, newspapers have had subscription fees, or papers have been sold on a copy-by-copy basis, but we do not do that. Most subscription-based papers are shrinking in numbers, while most free circulation papers are growing in circulation. The free paper concept came to Manitoba in the 1980s, and we were introduced to the idea by the late Harvey Friesen. He published a paper out of the Winkler-Morden area, and it was pretty successful, even though he gave it away free. Harvey was a very friendly fellow, a Mennonite by birth. He was a World War II veteran of the Royal Canadian Air Force. I can still hear Harvey's words from newspaper conventions regaling his fellow publishers. "Boys," he'd say, "get rid of those subscription lists. You have to send out bills, and sometimes 2 or 3 times. You have to keep up the subscriber lists and print labels. Then you have to stick labels on the papers and pay more at Canada Post because they are addressed." Back in those days, Canada Post was the way to go. But 30 years later, Canada Post has slipped badly in their service. If you put a paper in the mail in a local post office to be shipped to even a neighboring town, it has to go to Brandon or Winnipeg and sit in a warehouse, sometimes overnight, but more often it sits for several days. When we used Canada Post, we had many instances where papers could take a week to end up 10 miles down the road. It wasn't usually the local postmistress's fault. They usually gave excellent service, but the papers had to get to their post office first. We would end up driving the Neepawa Banner and Press to the post offices. In addition, over the 30 years, we ran into at least 6 postal strikes where Canada Post did not deliver at all. So we have evolved away from Canada Post almost entirely. When we pulled out of Canada Post, we saved over $80,000 per year in postage. You would think someone from Canada Post would have phoned and asked why we left, but you guessed it, we never even got a call. It just makes sense now to put our former postage money into a couple of good vehicles and hire drivers. With a paid circulation model, the subscribers determine the coverage area. With the free model, we determine the coverage area. It's consistent, and hopefully we get the papers out on time and to where they are wanted. Admittedly, we have had to delay deliveries a couple of times due to winter storms, but if we can't drive, likely the mail truck can't either. So it has taken over 30 years to develop the paper model we use now. Like I said last week, a newspaper has to have news, ads, opinions, and paper. It's not rocket science, but it is effective. Your community paper will come to you and be available in many places for the foreseeable future. But to be able to pay our printer, our staff, and buy gas for the vans, we need ads. Quite frankly, we need lots of ads. Also, we extend a vote of thanks to Glacier Media because the Neepawa Press in 2015 and with the Virden Empire-Advance in 2024, they realized that a locally owned model better serves the community than a big corporation model. I thank them for recognizing that and for selling us those 2 papers. The Neepawa Banner, the paper we started, is only 35 years old, but the other 3 titles are all way over 100 years old. It is an honor to carry on the community newspaper traditions. Next, we have Rita Friesen, her Homebodies column. This week, it is entitled The Week in Review. My thumb is healing. On Father's Day Sunday, I chose to honor the men who have loved me well by cleaning the vehicle. Like really clean the rascal, just the way both men would have wanted it done. I vacuumed, dusted, washed, and wiped. I'm rather one who uses the vehicle for transporting me and many items rather than the one who deeply cares about how clean it is. I was close to finished when, with the right hand on the front door jamb, the left hand solidly closed the door. Fortunately, the right hand could still think enough to open the door and release the thumb. There was a prolonged moment of silence. I did pause long enough to soak the throbbing digit in ice water and then completed the cleanup. It was midweek before feeling fully returned to my thumb, and it was rather difficult to discern how swollen the knuckle was because that's my weather-sensitive thumb, rather arthritic from the time an errant cow wrapped my thumb backwards around a post. All is good. It was my right thumb, and I am right-handed. Surprising how many times I flinched when performing ordinary things like using the zipper on my jacket. And I planted more trees as I dig the hole to drop in another fruit tree. These are really shrubs. Haskaps. I think back to Mr. Bergen, a friend of my father's. He was really old when we had the conversation, probably as old as I am now, when I challenged him about planting an apple tree when he would likely never get to eat the fruit. Understanding youth, he assured me he was planting them for his children and grandchildren, planting them for food and pleasure. And so I plant. Then I got permission to plant a boulevard tree, and I was delighted to research the best soil and amend the soil to try to guarantee success. I did get my oldest son to align the spot with the existing trees, nothing like a straight line. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree, by Joyce Kilmer. My days are filled with quiet pleasures. The garden is growing more slowly than I expected. Spinach salads fresh from the garden, hot radishes, and mini cucumbers. All the while watching the strawberries blooming, the raspberries stretching in all directions, the gooseberries really set well, as did the apples and the grapes. There are times when I wonder if it may be time to cut back, especially after I had to fence my front garden to keep the rabbits out. Watching fruits and vegetables grow, enough for summer dining, sharing with family, and even processing some for winter enjoyment is rewarding for me. With smaller, often raised garden spaces, I can clean 1 or 2 areas in minutes and never feel overwhelmed. And then, just because I can, and I wanted to, I painted the back garage door. That meant oil-based paint for metal. Fortunately, I already was outside, so ventilation was not an issue. Cleaning the brushes and rollers, that's a different story. Easy summer days. All right, Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroschein. This week it's entitled My Second Christmas. As the title of this column suggests, I celebrate 2 Christmases each year. My first Christmas is celebrated on December the 25th. Christmas Day is the one day each year when Catherine and I can get most of our family together for a dinner and gift exchange. And last year, thanks to some recent additions to our family, we had a very full house, and I am expecting that it will be just as full this coming Christmas. My second Christmas, sarcasm intended, is brought on by 3 huge trees that live in my front yard. They are among the tallest and most majestic trees in Neepawa, but I do not own them. They are heritage trees, proudly owned by the people of Neepawa. They are inspected regularly by the town's public works staff, and any pruning that needs to be done is done by the town staff when they are not busy with other things. Those trees are cottonwood poplars. Oh, I know where this is going. And every year from late June to mid-July, they go to seed. And my front lawn is covered with a coat of white fluff that makes it look like my lawn has received about an inch of snow. Hence the term, my second Christmas. When this fluff falls, I get out my hand tools and lawnmower, rake it into piles, put it into black plastic garbage bags, vacuum and bag the remnants with my lawnmower, and send everything to the landfill. This year's harvest was 7 black garbage bags full of seeds. Now, don't get me wrong. While I find these seeds annoying, and while I have to wear a mask while raking, vacuuming, and bagging them to protect me from the nasal congestion the fluff can cause, I know that I cannot blame the trees. They are cottonwood poplar trees, and they are doing what God created cottonwood poplar trees to do. Thankfully, the annoyance does not last more than a week or two. For the rest of the year, I am able to enjoy the beauty and majesty of those trees. I know they won't last forever. One day they will weaken, and one day they will die. But until that day comes, they will decorate the street on which I live. And every year around this time, they will remind me that there are many things in God's creation that are more powerful than I am, and that God is more powerful than anything or anyone on this earth. Today's newspapers, TV shows, and YouTube posts are filled with predictions of doom and gloom. They include warnings of the drastic consequences we may experience if we fail to elect the candidate of their choosing in the next election. From the way these pieces are worded, you would think that the world could come to an end the morning after the vote. When I hear or read these statements, all I need to look at is the poplar trees that adorn my front yard. They have survived numerous federal, provincial, and municipal elections, and they are still standing tall and strong, watching over their part of God's world. So is the God who created them. Politicians come and go. Political parties may win one election only to lose another. But God never changes. He is in charge, still in control, still watching over and caring for all he has made, just as he has been, and just as he will be until that day known only to him, when this world actually will come to an end. Now, so we have some pictures here looking back with the Beautiful Plains Museum. It's nice to have ice delivery. These are fantastic. Thanks to Norma Forsman at the Beautiful Plains Archives for access to this historic look at the way things were. The top photo is Mr. M. Murray and his crew cutting ice on Park Lake. Look at that, these great big blocks of ice. The second one is Mr. Murray with his delivery wagon. Oh my gosh. It doesn't say the year, but that is a long time ago. Now we have 4 thumbs up, thumbs down, and they are all positive this week. Thumbs up. A big thumbs up to Tom Yerricks for all the excellent chainsaw wood carvings on display on his lot in Burnie, Manitoba. A real super job, Tom, by Larry Novak of Neepawa. Thumbs up to President Glenda McPhee and the Neepawa Garden Club and their volunteers for their refurbishing of the Elizabeth Street Park and the renaming of it to be the Brent Hunter Memorial Park. P.S. They always need more volunteers. From David Myra Bennett of Neepawa. Thumbs up to the Neepawa Lions Club for once again allowing us to use the Stony Creek School down at Riverbend Park to teach our students about life as a pioneer. The kids had fun and learned a lot, much appreciated. from the grade 2 teachers at HMK School in Neepawa. Thumbs up to Roland and Sandra Unger for hosting the family church barbecue. From Linda Jerome and Renee Yokmans of Neepawa. Okay, so we're running out of time here. There's a couple of pages to go back to. Manitoba Crop Pest Update. Summary. Insects, flea beetles continue to be of concern, and there has been foliar insecticide applications for flea beetles in all agricultural regions to some degree. Cutworms continue to be found. However, they are becoming less of an issue in some regions as we get into late June. There were increased levels of moths in the diamondback moth traps in the central, eastern, and interlake regions during the weeks of June 2nd to 28th and June 9th to the 15th. There has also been an increase in moths in the true army worm traps in recent weeks, particularly in the eastern, interlake, and central regions. Wire worm damage to corn was noted in a field in the central region. Some seed corn maggots have been reported in sunflowers, but no serious damage. As far as disease, this week has not yielded reports of new pathogenic diseases in field crops in Manitoba. However, there has been a report of stripe rust being found in North Dakota in both winter wheat and spring wheat. Will that be a concern here? Most of the questions coming to me and to Kim Brown, weed specialist, have been from some form of abiotic injury. And for weeds, spraying continues across the province despite continuing challenging conditions with rainfall, wet fields, and high winds making things difficult. We have a wide range in crop stages. Some crops are just emerging, while earliest seeded crops are done herbicide spraying. Weed growth has slowed somewhat due to the cooler wet weather, but some weeds are approaching or beyond the maximum stage for herbicide application. Now for entomology. In late June, insect scouting priorities. As we get into late June, some of our early season insects will become less of a concern, and others may emerge to become bigger concerns. Our cutworms that have their larval stages early in the growing season will be turning to pupae. Some of this has probably started to happen already and will continue over the next couple of weeks. Continue to watch for cutworm damage in late emerging crops. Given the cooler temperatures this May and June, there still could be high enough populations to cause economic damage for another 1 to 2 weeks. Cutworms can sometimes be quite variable in their staging within a field. Adults of crucifer and striped flea beetles, which have survived the winter before feeding on cruciferous plants in the spring, will be laying eggs, and a decline in population will become noticeable as we get into late June. Once again, keep an eye on late emerging crops until the end of the month. Larvae of armyworms, sometimes called true armyworms, are just starting to be noticed in the interlake region and may be present in grassy crops and plant stands in other regions as well. No crop damage has been noted so far. Based on trap counts, armyworms are an insect that could be good to monitor carefully in cereals and forage grasses starting soon. Diamondback moth larvae on canola are another insect to assess when scouting canola, particularly if you start to see feeding on plants that is obviously not from flea beetles. Look for small green caterpillars about 12 millimeters long when fully grown that wriggle backwards quickly when disturbed and may drop from the plant on a silken thread. And lastly, in alfalfa, we are currently noticing some alfalfa weevils, adults and young larvae, and pea aphids, which we have been doing our sweeps for our beneficial insect survey. Pea aphids are less likely to be an issue in alfalfa in a wetter year like this, but can become an issue in peas later in the season. When peas get into the flowering stage later in the season, look for pea aphids in the crop. More information on scouting for pea aphids will be provided closer to flowering time. This report, compiled by John Gavlowski, David Kaminsky, Kim Brown, entomologist, field crop pathologist, weeds specialist, Manitoba Agriculture. So I think I'll close there. We're very near the end of our time. So thank you for joining us for this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press, and hopefully we'll see you another time. So bye for now.